Okay, I'm not usually one to do videos of products that I've purchased, but in this case I'm making an exception because this video is really for the seller of this product. Now, I'm not sure if you can see this too clearly, but there's a nice chip on this item, and this item I was actually really excited about because it's an IP camera that's got an intercom built into it. So it's got a microphone and it's got an internal speaker. So technically, it should allow you to talk to somebody outside the front of your home or wherever you've got one. For me, I got this item because I intended on putting it on the front, and then when idiots park in front of the house where there's a disabled sign, I could talk through the camera and tell them to move their car. Now, it's not worked out like that. Firstly, because this camera has arrived damaged. Like, you can see the paintwork's already chipped. Now, considering this is going to be outside and open to the elements, a chip is going to rust. And then underneath the top of the camera, it's like it's scratched. So this item hasn't arrived in a great condition. Now, that's not even my issue with this camera. You know, if the camera did what it said on the box, then I would have pretty much probably put up with the chip on the camera and the top that's basically scratched. But like I say, the camera doesn't do what it's intended to do. Now, I'm going to do another video in a second, but this video, like I say, is for the seller. Oh yeah, the big gripe with this product when it's arrived is it's not as described on the listing that I've seen it on. Because on the listing, it had a picture of all the stuff you got with the camera. One of them was a 3-pin power adapter. As you can see, I've got a 2-pin EU power adapter. So when I got the camera, I got it on Prime delivery, and I got same day delivery. I wanted it same day so I could get it up the same day. Didn't work out like that because I got this 2-pin EU adapter, so I had to basically get one of my own adapters before I could even try this thing out. So, you know, waste of time on that level. Then, when I actually did power it up, like I say, you know, the thing I wanted to see if it did well was the intercom, you know, to see how loud it was, because I was intending on putting this at the top of the house, overlooking the car. And then if anyone, you know, basically parked on the front, I'd be able to talk through it, tell them to basically move their car, or, you know, if I needed to talk to somebody that was in the front garden, you know, I was intending on using it as basically, you know, a two-way way of talking to people through the camera. Because most outdoor cameras don't have audio. They don't even have a microphone, you know, an intercom. So for me, this was a real game changer of a product. I thought, if this works out the way I intend, I'm going to replace all my cameras with these cameras, because then I'd be able to record audio and I'd also be able to talk through my cameras, and that goes great with my smart home setup. But then, like I say, I'm disappointed. Firstly, because it's arrived tarnished, damaged, and then it's arrived as, well, not as described, because it's got a 2-pin EU power adapter instead of a 3-pin UK plug adapter. Anyway, this is what it looks like. It's a great looking camera in all honesty, you know, apart from the imperfection, but the audio is terrible. My headphones make more noise than the internal speaker of this IP camera. And I'm going to do a separate video so I can just basically show you how poor this is. And hopefully the seller or the manufacturer can get back to my video when I've sent them the link to it and tell me if I've got a defective camera or if that's the norm for the audio quality. Because I've got the audio settings up to full blast and I can hardly hear it when it's in front of me. So put it outside my house, unless it's mounted above my doorway, you know, there's no way that anybody's going to be able to hear anybody through the intercom. And the thing that really shocks me is it's got great reviews. You know, it had 5-star reviews, and this is one of the reasons I bought it. But then, a day or two later after I'd purchased it, there was a note on the listing that the item was under review, and basically it wasn't being shipped by Prime delivery no more because there'd been a few complaints from people that had, you know, said either the item's not as described or that, you know, there's just something wrong with it. Now, in my case, I could say basically that it's not as described because it arrives with a 2-pin EU adapter instead of a 3-pin UK adapter as shown on the listing. But then my item also arrived damaged as you can see from the chip on the paintwork and the scratches across the top. And then the intercom function, which is its main selling feature and featured heavily in its title, doesn't work. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. You can't hear anybody who speaks through the camera. So, you know, a few issues, you know, on that level. So the seller can get back to me once I've actually, you know, posted the other video of the audio quality or lack of quality, and tell me if, you know, this is typical of this particular camera. I've even removed these stickers. Like I say, you know, it's going back. I don't usually send items back, but in this case, I feel strongly enough that I'm sending the item back because I wanted it on the front of the house. I wanted to be able to talk to people out of the camera. I can't do that because you can't hear any sound coming out of it. It's that poor. I removed these stickers just in case they were blocking up some internal speaker or some kind of gap that the sound came out of. Doesn't help, doesn't do anything. So it's not often that I'm disappointed by a product enough to actually do a video to send to the seller or to the manufacturer and say, hey, what's going on? You know, you're advertising an intercom enabled IP camera, but the intercom is useless. You know, it's... Anyway, like I say, this is my video for the seller. They can get back to me. Like I say, the product did arrive well packaged. So how it's chipped in the top corner and scratched underneath is beyond me. The 2-pin, that's an issue. If they've not got, you know, at the end of the day, if they've not got 3-pin adapters, then put that on the listing, show people what they're actually getting, instead of, like I did, you know, ordering on same-day delivery and then getting something that I can't actually use without a converter, or having to go out and get myself another adapter for the camera. I wanted to get it up that day. That's why I got it on same-day delivery, and I couldn't do that. And then, like I say, to actually hear the audio, not impressed. But I'm going to do the next video, so just in case, you know, you're looking to get this camera yourself, at least somebody's put up a video that you can check out first. Because before I bought this camera, I actually did look on YouTube to see if there was anybody that had posted a video. And there was one person, and it showed, you know, actual footage from the camera. There was no sound on it. Don't know whether that's because it couldn't pick up any sound, or whether that's because they disabled sound. No idea. But the video looked pretty cool because, you know, it's a wide angle lens. You know, it does catch quite a bit of the scene. So, you know, it's a plus in its favour on that note. But if you can't actually record the audio, or you can't actually speak to somebody through the camera, and that's its main selling feature, then for me, it has to go back. I could get a lot cheaper cameras, you know, than this if it's not doing what I need it to do. Anyway, seller that, you know, is obviously watching this video now because I'm going to send you the link. I thought I'd rather do a video for you instead of trying to put it into words. And you can tell me what went wrong here. Why have I got a big chip in the corner of my item? Why is it tarnished already on arrival? Why is it scratched under the bottom? What happened to the quality control here? And is the intercom, you know, function that I'm experiencing where it's really low typical of this camera? You know, I've got cameras that I've spent as little as £16 for that have got built-in intercoms, and I can hear them from around the house. And this, an expensive camera, not cheap by any, you know, shape or form, I can't even hear it literally while I'm standing next to it. Anyway, next video is coming up, so thanks for checking this out. If you've got this camera, like I say, leave a comment underneath. Let me know what you think of it. Like I say, the picture quality is great for this camera, but its main selling point is its intercom function. And if it doesn't work, then don't sell it on the basis of it's an intercom-enabled camera, because it's next to useless if you want to use that feature. Anyway, next video coming up. I'm going to do a quick video, just like I say, to show you the sound that comes out of this IP camera. And then, if you still want to get yourself one of these, then go ahead. You know, I'd have no trouble trying another camera out from the seller if what I'm experiencing with the audio quality on this is not typical of this particular camera. You know, I'll give them another shot. But if I've got another camera and the audio from the intercom is as poor as it is on this one, then, you know, I won't be replacing all my cameras with this particular camera. But let's see what the seller says. Let's see, you know, what the manufacturer says if whoever sold me this camera gets back to me, and then we'll take it from there. Bye for now.